Good morning, everyone. It's 5 o'clock in the morning, right on the nose. I'm up a little early today. I hope you're doing well. It's Sunday, April 3rd, 2022. All right, I know this is the Spokane experience, but I got to go big today. Um, I'm not sure if y'all are aware, but I'm part of a secret society that we don't need to mention right now called Viva Barnes and Viva Frey and Robert Barnes at locals.com. And we discussed the political zeitgeists and the fake news and the problems with fact checking and all that kind of stuff. So, if you're part of that secret society, you'll understand a lot of what I'm about to say. But I ran into a problem trying to prepare for today's show. Nice show. God, I got it saved on a hard drive somewhere, but there was a lady named Millie Weaver, and she did a documentary. I think Trump was still president. I think it was released right around the time of the election, 2020. And this what the hell am I trying to say? God, I didn't believe the drugs would hurt me this bad. No, documentary. Documentary. Why does that sound wrong? This documentary? No, that's not right. Wow. Okay, so the show she made. What's wrong with me? Too early, not enough coffee. Went through and discussed how our shadow government worked, certain technologies they employed in the 80s and 90s to sway certain elections in other countries, and how it works so well, they decided to do a self-experiment on the U.S., blah, 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 blah. All right. In that documentary, what the fuck are they called? Not documentaries. Why am I not saying it right? What's wrong with my brain? Somebody please tell me. In this show, I don't know what's wrong with me. She explains how, in one area, I wish I had a graph. I wish I had the show. She explained how, how you'd have these entrenched government officials who weren't voted in. These are the secretaries and advisors and consultants. They'd have positions on the president's staff, things like that. How even though the name on the door changed, these people never left. And how they bounce between actual government positions, and then once that position was over, they'd bounce into an intelligence agency company, private company, and be subcontractors to the government. And as subcontractors to the government, they'd have access to certain databases, and it showed how the network was built, that because they would have access to certain directories and whatnot and databases, they'd also have direct access to all sorts of other information that they probably shouldn't have as a subcontractor. But it goes into depth, and I did a show on it then. And funny, on the day she was going to release it, she gets arrested for robbery from a domestic violence call, I think a month earlier, where her mother from California was in town, and somebody threw her mother's phone out into the yard. There was no actual physical violence. No cops even showed up. I believe the mother had gone back to California, but now when she's about to release this video exposing the deep state, which she did get off, she got arrested on robbery for taking the phone and throwing it, whatever. It was suspicious as fuck. And I watched the show. I was like, wow, this all makes sense. I get it. So now, here's the funny thing. So I was going to do a compare and contrast with Robert Gates' show today.
Well, they were accusing Donald Trump of being an agent of the Russian government.
So I was going to do, and I'll still show you this part, but I was going to say, see, look, this is what she was talking about. This is what they're denying right here. But I can't find that fucking video now. And I used to be able to find it really easy. I think I even had it saved. Oh, wrong one. I'm in the wrong area. So I actually had Millie Weaver's. So fact check. Shadowgate spreads misinformation about major. So it didn't. But here the fucking thing is I can't find Control News. It used to be on bandtv.com. I can't find the motherfucker now. Oh, okay, here we go. MillieWeaver.com. Maybe it's here. Well, I'm not going to fucking buy shit just to fucking, will this get me killed? It might. Okay, so I bet you she had a psyops to steal. I bet you she had to take it off the internet. Shadowgate 2.0, full movie. Yeah, here it is. All right, so this was a documentary. What the fuck was being documentary? It's a documentary. Fuck my brain. Don't do drugs, kids, until you're at least in your 40s, so you can be smart most of your life. All right. This was really fishy, and this came out quite a while ago. The fake news industrial complex.
An online network called Internet. We've been talking for decades.
Oh, I'm probably gonna have to turn on the fucking.
Was going to be a cyber war, and
all right.
For the last couple decades has been saying, "Oh, we need to shore up our infrastructure, our power plants, our."
All right. On the day Shadowgate had an early release, a well-planned targeted smear campaign by media outlets and social media influencers was launched to distract away from the subtle path the military industrial was going through in the background. Yeah, that's why I told you. She got arrested on robbery charges because she got in a little altercation 30 days earlier with her mom, took the cell phone, threw it out in the... I think it was a cell phone Millie had bought for her mom, and her mom was being a cunt, and they got in a little family argument, and Millie threw the fucking phone out, or her husband did or something. Cops never even showed up, but mom did kind of put in a 911. Oh, they're fucking, like greedy moms might do. All right, so let's get out of this here. This Shadowgate 2.0. I'm not sure even it's the same one. Shadowgate, the original. Documentary. God damn it. What the fuck I was saying? I don't know why So.
Just take a listen from Dan Bishop to what.
Oh, here, let me switch up here and get some good volume.
Has the FBI taken new steps since 2017 to ensure that private government contractors do not abuse access to sensitive U.S. government data stores for self-serving purposes, including political purposes?
Sir, I'm not familiar with the background of your question.
Well, the DOJ claims in court that Rodney Jaffe, a.k.a. Tech Executive 1, exploited sensitive DNS data reflecting internet traffic to and from Trump Tower, to and from Donald Trump's personal residential apartment building, and the executive office of the president, He allegedly affiliated with Clinton campaign officials, including Michael Sussman, who had been a cyber lawyer at DOJ, and tech researchers at Georgia Tech to fabricate plausible sounding but false allegations about connections between Trump and a Russian bank before the election in 2016 and then after the election about the use of a Russian-made phone. Both of these were scams. Mr. Sussman fed them to the FBI at the highest levels while concealing his political motives. So that's the background. And the question is, has the FBI taken new steps since 2017 to see that these awesome stores of sensitive data that the U.S. has are not being exploited for political purposes by private contractors?
So the main reason I wanted to show you all this, hello, okay, is because the main reason I wanted to show you all this is one, we knew about this. We've known about this for a long time. I think I came across the realization that Trump wasn't lying about so many different things that, you know, whether it was they were spying on him. Let me see if I can do it off the top of my head. Carter Page, General Flynn, all these things were meticulously against the law. General Flynn was set up. There's proof of that. It's not even a question. I don't want to get into that, but the FBI and Department of Justice went after a duly elected president with falsification of documents for whatever reason, paid for by his political opponent, things of this nature, and they use. So the reason I wanted to refer to Milley's, oh god damn it, documentary, is because if you watch that Shadowgate, the original one, not 2.0, it intricately outlines how these networks of subcontractors, private companies, and official contractors, and heads of state turned public worker or private sector back to public sector, how it's a network designed for manipulating and controlling, and it ties in with Epstein and all this. So as the Spokane experience, I want to keep it more local, but if you watched any of my past videos, I'm sorry. The FBI, the same organization that has been caught red-handed, but they don't care, falsifying documents to get FISA warrants, which are supposed to be solely for the tapping of foreign espionage agents that might be in the United States, falsifying these documents, lying to judges over and over again, specifically so they can get warrants to tap their phone line, stuff like that. This is the same agency that's going after Spokane Board of Education, council, whatever. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. That can't be good. First of all, what is the FBI doing in Spokane school systems? Right? I don't think our kids are bootlegging booze. I don't think they're, conspiring with the Hells Angels or the Mongols or any major motorcycle club for the manufacturing or distributing of methamphetamines. I hope not. I haven't seen any evidence of that. And I'm not saying our local sheriffs and police shouldn't be involved in our schools to make sure that shit stays out of our school system. I'm not saying, the police should have nothing to do with our local societal issues in our high schools. The FBI needs to stay the fuck out of it because, A, we have no fucking control over those motherfuckers locally. And these are our local kids. These are local issues. We don't want some fucking attorney general or Washington, D.C. fucking brainiac deciding how our schools are going to be ran here in Spokane. This is why this is one of the reasons our forefathers specifically said that the power of the federal government should be limited. And it's this encroachment on our local society. Jay Inslee is a goddamn putz. He's paid off. He's a fucking crony to special interests, and we cannot rely on him to keep our Spokane County city safe to our way of life, where if our school board, which I agree with, says, look, the cops should be a last resort, even in altercations, even in physical altercations, and they're right, because this isn't a workplace issue. This isn't a public, like downtown or at the mall issue. This is children and young adults learning to work together, they're developing. There's going to be scuffles. Now, but all the fucking firearms being brought to school. Look, you're not going to agree with this because you're dumb. You haven't taken enough psychology. You haven't lived enough places to understand what I'm about to say. But I have to say it in hopes that maybe you swallow your fucking pride, right, for the better of society. This cracking down on bullying, this cracking down on speech in our schools, can't say this, don't say that. You know, if a kid merely says something in aggravation, yeah, I got a list. Whether they do or not, that kid's going to go to juvenile for you cannot expect the same accountability coming out of and here's what happens. Because these kids aren't allowed to naturally form hierarchies of whether it's competence, whether it's popularity, whether it's social interactions, because that's being manicured by a bunch of critical race woke motherfuckers, right? Who think masculinity is toxic, so we have to get rid of it out of schools. They're making things worse. It's called repression. Just like in the Catholic schools, why all those hot little Catholic girls were sluts was because they were sexually repressed through a domineering, oppressive religion, right? Which, hey, it turned them into sluts, which thank goodness for that. No, but so when you're repressing these aggressive natural tendencies of boys to figure out what's going on, who should be the leader, who should be the followers, what group should I be in, all these natural processes of learning how to find the right group. See, this is the thing is that, there's different cliques in high school. And if you're not allowed to figure out which clique you want to be in, and it's just all one big clique, that stunts our children's ability to understand what paths they might want to follow, because they don't know how to explore different things. They don't know how to see if they're the one. Like, maybe they're the one. Maybe they're the leader. Maybe they're not. Maybe they need to step down a little bit and let the real leader go, because not everyone can lead. So here's some sociology facts. All right. Two groups can't negotiate as groups, right? This is why we have leaders. This is why we have negotiators, right? Because a country and a country, right? Or a business, right? And the city, as the city, and as a they can't negotiate without sending only one person, and one person can negotiate, right? Groups don't negotiate; they war, right? So if you don't have leaders of groups, they just war until one of them wins. There's no negotiating. Okay, so these kids, because of the gun violence, the fucking blah, 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 it's being repressed. Not only are there natural human male tendencies being repressed, which causes repression, physical aggressive repression. So what happens with regression? The psychological term of sexually regressed, oppressed, or regret. God, man, I gotta work on my freaking brain a little bit, because I used to know all these words. if you're sexually repressed, that expresses itself later in life with promiscuity, hypersexual activity, whatever. So when that's sexual repression. So when you have masculine repression, here's some more fucking psychology. Men don't generally come to blows. It's actually far rarer. Now they'll what? They'll bark. They'll bark, until one. Have you ever seen wolves and dogs? You know how one will finally lay down and expose its neck. Okay, so the alpha male of a wolf pack, if he gets challenged by a lesser wolf or something like that, and the lesser wolf realizes, oh, I'm about to lose. I probably shouldn't have done this. He will lay down and expose his neck, and the alpha male will not take that opportunity. Because if you know dog fighting, when dogs are fighting, they go for the neck, they go for the jugular. That's why, the loose-skinned dogs were better fighters, because you couldn't get a hold of our arteries, things like that. These are natural, biological, sociological ways of being, evolutionary. So when you got to let our little wolf puffs, because they're not going to fight most of the time. And here's the other thing. So teachers are more worried about showing our kids how to suck dick than socially interact. That's a problem. That's a real problem. I saw this preacher. He says they need to be teaching them to read. They need to teach them how to read, not how to go to hell. I'm down with that slogan. You have the teachers and the counselors. You got to let them rough and tumble in grade school. You got to let them learn that how to interact in the male groups, in the female groups, naturally. Because they're not doing that. I'm getting to my point. I'm getting back to the point. Because they're not doing that, any rise in severity, school shootings, school stabbings, is because they're more non-lethal forms of aggression and working it out are being repressed. So finally, when they stand up for themselves, they go too far because they haven't properly developed what's the right way to do it, how to do it. I grew up in Hilliard, 509. There were only one or two guys in the expanse of and we were brawlers. You grew up in Hilliard, you knew how to fight. It was just a thing. I'm not going to name names, but there's only one or two guys who would continue beating up someone on the ground. All the respectable, good kids that I knew that still got in fights and stuff like that, we all had the same rule. You don't kick a guy when he's down. When you beat a kid up, another kid up, or if you lose, you stop fighting. You won, and nobody gets hurt that way. But you still brag about who won, all that. And if you're watching one of those fights and your buddy's winning or whatnot, and you see someone else is getting kicked, you jump in and you stop it. These are natural safeties and evolutionary of masculinity that they're not allowing to take place. So you don't learn that you need to jump in. See, that's the thing, is you don't learn because that you need to jump in and hold your buddy off because he's got quite the temper, right? So, hey, come on now. You don't learn this because it never happens. So when it does happen, the people involved go too far because they got all that bent up, hate, or they can't get it out. This is psychological fact, right? I'm a psychiatrist in my own mind, for my own mind, to my own mind. All right. The FBI is trying to infiltrate our schools. That's bad. If you want to use heightened aggression and your fear of school shootings, then you've got to get rid of this woke philosophy and let kids be kids and let boys be boys. With sports, with wrestling, with activities, and you have to be willing to let a few boys scuffle without calling the cops and altering the fucking course of their life to their detriment. We have to wake up and stop using the police as referees in our daily fucking lives. All right. So that's how I'm tying it back into Spokane. The FBI is no longer, and they'll have they don't know it. They're just doing their job. They don't know that this isn't how it's always been. They don't understand that they're encroaching on people's rights making it worse. They don't get that. I'm sure they're just trying to do their job the best they understand it. But, they're cops. How fucking smart could they fucking be? All right. That's my show this morning. What time is it? How long did that take me? Oh, it's only 26 minutes. Kind of a short one for me. All right, everyone. Try to have a good day because there's not very many left.